What is up, everybody? I'm having some technical difficulties tonight, but hopefully I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me. I am, I think, in the chat room. I don't know. I'm having all kinds of weird problems tonight, so just bear with me. This is going to be kind of an unusual stream. Probably not too much like the streams we usually do. I apologize for that. Just, things happen, I suppose. Let's see here. So it says that we have some people. Hang on just a second. All right, guys, what is up? Feel free to let me know in the chat room if you're here. Say hello, say, whatever, whatever you want to say. Let's see. I'm not sure if we have anybody in the chat room right now, if it's just not showing up on my end. Let's hope that this goes okay. I think I'm having a little bit of a problem with my internet tonight. I don't know what for sure is going on, but it has been acting kind of funny lately. So if you're just tuning in, please bear with me tonight. I'm pulling everything up right now, and we are going to talk about Bigfoot. More specifically, we are going to talk about whatever. I knew you would do that, Cinder. As soon as I said it, I knew you would do that. Well, maybe not you, but somebody. So like totally whatever to you too. Okay. Creepy little book. Hey, thanks for coming. Thank you all very much for coming. Samuel, hello. If you just tuned in, I'm having some technical difficulties tonight, and I apologize for that. So please bear with me tonight as we attempt to do this without my internet just totally kicking off, because it's been kicking off a lot lately. But anyway, welcome back to another episode of Paranormally Correct. Or maybe I should start saying the Paranormally Correct Monday Night Live YouTube stream. I know that's a mouthful, but that's actually what I call it. Look at me overcomplicating the title of my show. As always, of course, I'm your host, Sarah. If you're new here and you didn't know that, now you know. I have a great show for you tonight, I think, provided that nothing quits working throughout the show. We're going to talk about samurai chatter tonight, which is one of my favorite supernatural topics. And we're going to talk about the Sierra sounds, more specifically the Sierra sound recordings recorded by, well, we'll get to that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But I do love Bigfoot. I have never seen Bigfoot. Let me know if you guys have seen Bigfoot. Tell me the story in the comments. I love hearing Bigfoot stories. And I've always wanted to do this video, but I'll tell you right now, I am not any sort of authority whatsoever on Bigfoot or the sounds that Bigfoot make. I don't know that much about technical animal aspects and things like that. I'm certainly not like a zoologist or a cryptozoologist. I am just a fanboy, actually. Your head is having technical difficulties. I hope that means you don't have a migraine, because those are terrible. I have migraines all the time. Well, only if I accidentally eat gluten. I think you guys all know that, though. I do hope you get to feeling better, though, Cinder. So first thing first, I want to tell you guys, I didn't find a whole lot of paranormal news tonight, or for tonight, but I did find one. I don't know if I can even tell this without laughing, because for some reason this is insanely hilarious to me. And it may not be hilarious to you, because I guess it's a real disorder. So hopefully I don't offend anybody by laughing hysterically. The first thing I want to talk about tonight are paranormal news. This is called the swallowing hex, as in like, hex, curse, voodoo type things. So a 13-year-old girl from Western Kenya has been in the local news lately, but not for reasons you might guess. For several months now, or 7 months more specifically, the girl has been vomiting objects like remote controls, cell phones, batteries, and even her final exam test papers from school. She's puking these things up. They're actually coming out of her mouth. Remote controls, guys, cell phones. Can you believe this? This is crazy. The family, teachers, doctors, everyone who has seen this, they all agree that, yes, she is puking up objects. And another thing that's really weird about this is they're not just totally random objects that maybe spawned mysteriously inside of her stomach. So far, all of the objects have been things which have disappeared from other immediate locations. Okay, so like, for example, this is crazy. The girl's mother, Josephine, told the press, it started with a mobile phone. This is a direct quote, by the way. It started with a mobile phone, which disappeared at the dining room table. We were so shocked when she later vomited it out. One time, we were shocked to see her vomit a battery cell, which didn't even belong to us. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I had to tell you guys about this because I've never heard anything like it before. I think maybe I heard about someone allegedly puking up frogs one time, and I think they claimed that was demonic possession, but batteries and remote controls. So the family believes that this strange activity is the product of a curse or a hex, more specifically, witchcraft. But medical science says that it's a disorder. It's either called PICA or they pronounce it Pika. I'm not sure exactly which one because I didn't Google it. But it's a disorder where patients who are sometimes also suffering things like OCD, anxiety, or even depression will uncontrollably eat random objects. Jerry Gray. Yeah, she is in West Kenya. That's as much as I know. So yeah, it's going to be a search to find her. But so anyway, oddly enough, the local police are, get this, they are investigating the witchcraft claims. They have also at this point questioned several suspects. Again, the mother said to the press, I want them to set my daughter free so that she can resume her normal life and pursue her education. You know, because it's hard to pursue an education if you're like stealing the pencils and puking them back up later. And she continued, she said, if they want money or anything else, we are ready to pay so that my daughter can be set free. So she firmly believes that she could pay off the voodoo priestesses or like witch doctors. Whoever has put the spell on her daughter, there's a reward if you take it off. So, and I'm guessing that if anybody has the power to just do like a totally different spell and take this curse off of her, she would probably pay you too. So just something to think about if you need extra money this week or something, you know, probably a pretty good deal. I wish I knew voodoo. I couldn't get over this, guys. I think it's just so funny. But I guess it's kind of peculiar to me that she can swallow these things to begin with. I think what's the weirdest to me, I should probably say, is not that she's puking them up, but that she actually manages to get them down. That's what blows my mind. Oh my goodness. So like I said, not too much for paranormal news tonight. I did have one other thing, but it was actually like a year and a half old, maybe, I think, or somewhere around a year old. And I didn't think that it was really too relevant anymore, but I did post it on the Facebook page, and it kind of went along with tonight's show as well. If you saw the post about the baby Bigfoot, that's the post I'm talking about. There was a recent, well, not recent, like I said, it was last year. There was a claim made by someone that they had been able to distinguish the shape of a baby Bigfoot on the back of Patty, the famous Bigfoot from the Patterson-Gimlin film. No one has ever noticed this before or made this claim before, apparently, according to the interwebs. So this is kind of peculiar. I personally, I don't think that I see a baby Bigfoot hanging on her back, but I definitely see what the original poster was talking about. And it does look interesting, and it would be cool to think that she has a baby Bigfoot on her back. But I'm going to say that probably no. I'm going to say that it's a product of dead pixels and poor resolution, and that's why we think that it looks that way. So, but if you want to check that out, go over to the Facebook page. It is posted. So, like I said, tonight we're going to talk about samurai chatter. Does anybody know what that is by any chance? Anybody familiar with it? It's one of my most favorite things. I think it's so cool and kind of creepy, and a lot of people say that it's very ominous, but I think it's, I don't know. I don't really know what I think about it. I like to hear it. I think it's interesting. Let me know if you guys have ever heard of samurai chatter before. So simply put, samurai chatter is the name given to the sound of the language believed to be spoken by Bigfoot. It was first captured in the Sierra Sound tapes or recordings by Barry and Moorhead. That's their last names, by the way. Oh, you've never heard of samurai chatter? Ooh, this is going to be interesting then. I kept thinking, I was like, does everybody know about this? Maybe this is not going to be that interesting of a video, but if you've never heard of it, it's going to be kind of cool. So the alleged language consists of grunts and stutters and like all sorts of weird, almost monkey type noises. Not quite, but pretty close. But it sounds very familiar to the muffled, fervent banter of samurais, thus earning the eponymous description. So that's why they call it samurai chatters, because apparently it sounds like samurais chattering. The very first samurai chatter that was captured on October 21st in the early 70s. I think I read 72, but a lot of sources say 78. Well, I think I saw a couple sources say 78. So it was sometime in the early 70s. And it was not too long after the Patterson film was released, which is one thing that people say kind of makes them think that maybe it was a hoax because it was so close in time. Chronologically with the Patterson film, but I don't agree with that personally. I think that the Patterson film just boosted interest, obviously. So we're actually going to listen to some videos tonight, which is really interesting. We'll get to that in a minute, though. So this happened in Sierra Nevada. This is where the recordings came from, up in the mountains. And these two guys recorded what would become known, of course, as the Sierra Sounds. So I'm going to play a backstory video just to kind of clue you in on the backstory, just to kind of let you know where these guys were coming from. Because one of my questions when I first heard about it was like, well, did they mean to catch it or was it an accident? And I think that's probably one of the first things that most people ask. So I'm going to play you a video. Give me just 1 second. Okay, I am going to screen share that with you right now so that you can see it. And like I said, my internet's running pretty strange tonight, so bear with me. I wish there was a better way to do this.
It was a remote, high mountain area, and I was aware that there had been some strange goings on in this area.
Also, let me know if the sound's okay, if it's too loud, if it's rattly, if it's, you know, whatever.
From accounts of the people who had been there, and it was a long hike in, and I got in there in the late afternoon. I set my tape recorder up. I put my mic, taped it to a tree a little ways away from where I'd be bedding down, and then proceeded to wait along and see what developed.
Al Berry recreates for us what happened on the night of October 21st, 1972.
Later on that evening, after it grew dark, I was tired from the hike in, and I had begun to doze off, when all of a sudden I was awakened by some strange sounds. It was very startling. I didn't know what to think. I had very mixed emotions. On one hand, I was wondering, well, could somebody possibly be out there doing it, some human being? And on the other hand, viscerally, my knees were shaking and my insides were turning a bit. And I was wondering if maybe what I was hearing was some creature that was stranger than anything that we knew.
So that, what you heard right there, that kind of sounded a little monkey-like. That's samurai chatter. That's part of the recording. So I just wanted to point that out in case you didn't know.
Sounds analyzed since then, and the University of Wyoming by a professor of electrical engineering there. And the results are the sounds could not have been made by man or any known animal.
Professor Curlin of the University of Wyoming confirmed to In Search Of that Al's tape was tested and shown not to have been artificially manufactured.
So I think that's really interesting, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to show that clip to you. Is it's very authentic. It seems very authentic. It seems like it passes all of the tests and jumps through the hoops, and fits the qualifications for a legitimate actual piece of footage, or rather recording. And one of the reasons I wanted to do the videos like this tonight is because this is such a story about sounds. Of course, I can't really sit here and recreate them myself. So I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of videos tonight because of that reason, because of the sounds, because I think they're so cool and just weird. And I think that they are legitimately evidence. I think that they're real, personally. I don't know what you guys think about it. You can let me know throughout the night what you think of these sounds, because there's some pretty wild ones. And getting back to the thing here, so that would be my next question, is like, how do we know that this is real? Well, we would probably take the advice from a professional if it was like, say, a bear. If if someone with the right qualifications said, oh, I can identify this sound as a bear, we probably wouldn't question it any further than that. So I find it to be very interesting that when there are things like this, situations like this one, people don't want to take anybody's professional opinion, which is pretty strange to me, of course. But I guess it has a lot to do with, it's hard to wrap your mind around, obviously, that Bigfoot really exists. So I see that we have some new people popping in. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Bigfoot was big in the 70s. Yes, he was. Hello, Galactic Clouds. Jerry Gray. That's the sound of stomach made. Those darn burritos. Those pesky burritos. Hey, Sarah. It is good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. So moving along with this, I think that's my first point that I want to make, is that, we have professional opinions on this, just as well as we do with like the Patterson film. And a lot of people still believe that the Patterson film is faked. And I think it's actually one of the most amazing pieces of paranormal supernatural evidence in the world, because I don't know if you guys ever saw it. We're not going to talk too much about the Patterson film tonight, just because it doesn't really have much to do with sound. But if you've ever seen like some of the specials and documentaries they do about it, where they have scientists recreate the gate and things like that, how can that be faked? I think it's definitely legit, just like I think that this is definitely legit. So the next thing, we are going to listen to the actual Sierra sounds. This is my favorite part. So give me just 1 second to cue this up. Let me know if you guys can't hear that or anything. Anything's going wrong, let me know. I'm really paranoid tonight. By the way, they call those whoops, W-O-O-P, whoops. And apparently Bigfoot makes lots of whoop sounds, so. some of these are a little bit hilarious. And I believe that that is one of the guys making noises as well. But you can kind of differentiate pretty easily, I think, the ones in the distance, which are, you know, allegedly Bigfoot, versus the guy making the noises. So this goes on for quite some time. I'm not going to show you the whole video. I will post it on the Facebook page. We'll listen to just like another 10, 15 seconds. So, let's see. Like I said before, I am not an authority in any way on this, and I don't really have any professional opinions. But I've wanted to do this video for so long because like I've said a million times, I think it's so interesting. And I wish that there was more that I could say, that I could throw in, you know, and add to the conversation. But I think it's pretty well covered on the internet. But it is cool if some of you have never heard of Samurai Chatter, or if you've never heard of, which we're going to listen to more a little later on, but also like the Sierra sounds. So has anyone here seen a Bigfoot, or has anybody heard anything like this? Because I know several people who have heard these types of sounds in the forest and believe that they had Bigfoot experiences. And I know one of the things that people say, like cryptozoologists and, you know, cryptid experts and things like that, they say that Bigfoot likes to do wood knocks, which is basically knocking on a tree, or, you know, maybe if he has like a board, he can probably knock on a board too. I don't know if it's limited to trees, is what I'm saying. But he also throws rocks for some reason. And I'm not entirely positive what the theory is behind the rock throwing, but apparently it's a significant thing. And I know someone who swears that there was a Bigfoot hid in a hill next to the road that they were walking on, and they could hear it. They could hear it walking, they could hear it grunting, making, you know, an assortment of noises, and also was throwing a lot of rocks into the road toward this witness. And I think that's just the coolest thing. I've never had rocks thrown at me by Bigfoot, but like you guys know, I don't really go in the woods that much because I'm not tremendously fond of the woods. But have you guys ever experienced anything like this, or have you heard anything you thought maybe was a Bigfoot sound, possibly? Getting back to the story here, and this is actually a quote from Ron Moorhead's website, which will be linked in the description if you're interested in checking that out. I know he has a lot of cool stuff for sale, a lot of evidence and things like that. But a quote from him, his side, says that a professor of electrical engineering says that there's no physical tampering with this audio. A human sound expert says that there is no human that can make this noise or any of these types of sounds. And a Navy cryptolinguist finds language and syntax within these recordings. So that's something that's a really good, important piece of information about this. There's actually, you know, this sounds like an actual language. And if you don't know what a cryptolinguist is, I actually have a friend who is a cryptolinguist, or was, I don't know if he still is, but he was in the military and he did that type of thing. And it's a really interesting job if you look into it, if you're not familiar and you Google it or anything. But they basically can decode languages. In short, you know, the most simple explanation is that they can decode languages that they don't particularly speak or understand. And that part is what is most fascinating to me. And I found a website with a lot of information about the cryptolinguist aspect of this. And I was going to try to tell you guys about it, but I kept reading it over and over, and I was like, I don't get it. I'm not smart enough. Can't compute. It was not computing in my head, and I was like, well, I don't know how to reiterate this in the stream because it's too complex. But this link is in the description, and I either posted it on the Facebook page or it's going to post tomorrow. It's scheduled, maybe. But you'll see it. It's from a Blogspot website, but it's really fascinating. I don't know if it's the most authentic, genuine information in the world, but it is very fascinating if you're interested in this topic. So the next thing, let's see. So let's get to some actual vocalizations here. And I believe this video is going to be the one that's actually got the samurai chatter in it. So 1 second and I will load that up. I see your comment, creepy little book. I think you do have some Bigfoot up there. They're probably just staying hid from that other crowd that you're referring to. Meowtube, hey, glad you made it. We are doing some squatching tonight. We are squatching it up. So this video, we're going to check this out real quick. This is really interesting. Oh, well, okay, yeah. Okay, here we go.
It is very bizarre indeed.
We decided to record the sounds and put them on a CD.
So that is samurai chatter. That's the actual portion of the language that is called samurai chatter. And I have heard, I'm not positive, so don't quote me on this, but I have heard that people, or I don't know, some sort of source has claimed that this discussion, apparently it's a discussion between two Bigfoot or Squatches, is actually an argument. And they say that, I believe, and I'm pretty sure they're referring to this particular recording here. I might be wrong. But I think this is pretty much the only good samurai chatter that we have. I know that there are a couple of others floating around on YouTube, but who knows if they're true or not. But this is allegedly an argument between two Squatches. If you can imagine that. The reason they say that is because of the inflection and the, what was it? I can't remember now. Oh, crap. There was something about, well, I mean, it kind of just sounds like an argument between the two, but they had a very technical explanation for why it was possibly an argument. So that's kind of interesting. Apparently, apparently Bigfoot argues with his wife. So pretty neat. He gave that bad burrito. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I wonder what would happen if people, when they went hunting for Bigfoot, like on that show, Finding Bigfoot, do they ever take burritos? Because that would probably lure him out. Just throwing it out there for future reference for anyone who wants to hunt Bigfoot. Take the burritos.
In a cassette and make them available to people. We do believe these creatures are trying to communicate with us, though. And we, as we speak, are having linguistics people look into it. They are very encouraged. What they're saying so far is that humans cannot mimic these sounds. That the range supersedes what a human can do. The tapes were shown by a previous study at the University of Wyoming to be spontaneous and no signs of being re-recorded or pre-recorded at altered speeds. So the idea of a hoax is very improbable as far as professionals are concerned at this time.
Oh, and there's Patty, in case you're not familiar with Gimlin footage, Patterson-Gimlin footage. This is Patty, and Patty is believed to be a female. And if you look at, Google some pictures, or I'll post them on the Facebook page, or just look up the post where I mentioned the baby Bigfoot. This is the image where they believe that there was a baby Bigfoot hanging on her back. I don't agree, of course, but who knows? Maybe there was. God, can you believe that? That is so crazy. That sound is just, it sounds human. You know, I totally get why people would assume that this could be faked or that it could be a hoax. The article, again, that I was talking about, I'm going to try to look that up real quick and show you at least a little bit of it. We probably won't talk too much about it because, like I said, it's a little over my head. But it has a really great explanation as to why humans can't make those noises, which I think is just like, you know, that's really the only explanation you need. I mean, of course, the technical version, not my version where I don't completely understand it, but the version where they talk about, you know, the capabilities of human voices and the octaves and things like that, all those details. So let me see if I can find that real quick. Maybe, maybe not. Possibly. I know I posted it today. Okay, so here we go. Let me do a screen share. Okay, so I think you can see that. And this, like I said, is from Blogspot, but it's a very good article, very interesting. The video is gone, so I don't know what's going on with that, and I'm not sure what video was supposed to be there. But and I don't know. Why would anybody take that down? Seems a little bit like a conspiracy if you ask me. So oh no. Okay, so this is actually the one that I let you guys listen to earlier. So this is the one where Ron was trying to communicate back and forth with the Bigfoot in the Samurai Chatter. So let's see. Had a growl hit me at night while I was looking. Wow. So do you mean like a rock or something? Like something, or was it sound? Because that sounds like a Bigfoot. Maybe you ran into one. I would love to have a Bigfoot experience. Oh my God. I've got to get out in the woods. And I believe we have a lot of Bigfoot in Kentucky. I know several people who have seen Bigfoot in Kentucky. I don't think there are too many famous cases, though, but Ohio definitely seems to have quite a few significant Bigfoot cases, and we don't live all that far from Ohio. I like to go up there once in a while and just snoop around, go to Timmy Ho-Ho's, aka Tim Hortons. So yeah, so getting back to this page here. Did you know Sasquatch has a language? Yes. And then it goes into some detail about, you know, just some background details. This R. Scott Nelson person, I have tried to Google and could not find much on this person. I guess it's a man. So here it kind of goes into the story of Ron Moorhead and Al Berry. And then there are a few videos listed on here to go along with the text. Very interesting, very interesting. Let's see. So there is a Sasquatch phonetic alphabet, which is pretty cool. And then I'll get down to the last part here where they kind of talk about this language a little more specifically. So this is the alphabet that they're using. It also kind of tells you, it gives you like a little key here, compound, to go into to kind of make it a little more clear, abbreviations, things like that. So this link will be available if you want to check this out. It's really interesting. Like I said, it's kind of difficult to understand, but this part, I really like this part where it kind of, you know, kind of tries to put it together to make sense of all of it, of the talking. So definitely check this out after the stream. Let's see. Okay. I'm getting confused here because I got so many windows open. So the next thing I want to show you guys, there are a few websites that have some recordings. Some of these I think probably will have clips from the Sierra sounds in it. So we'll just kind of skip through those if we run across them. But I do want to show you some of these. These are really cool. So let's pull that up. Okay, and 1 second. So this is from OregonBigfoot.com. This is a really cool website. I spent a lot of time looking at that this evening. listening to some of the sounds. So they have a whole data bank here with recorded sounds and stuff like that. And it gives you a little bit of context to go with it. So this one here, yes, this is one of the sources that say 1978, but I'm pretty sure that they didn't record that in 78. I think it was 72. Not sure about that though. So if you click on these little... Oh, I forgot to mention some of the audio on here is a little deafening. So you may want to turn down your speakers. I didn't realize it was going to be that loud though. But this is from the Sierra recordings. Let's listen to it one more time. Watch your ears. That last part kind of sounds like R2-D2. That's what I think of when I hear that one. Oh, that's interesting, Samuel. That could have been a dog man. I don't know. It might have been Bigfoot, but I'm just so fixated right now on dog man. Everything is a dog man to me. Okay, so this next recording, as you can see, here's the little blurb, the little context for it. Let's listen to that one. I like that one a lot. I like the ambience. That one is very, very much like, you know, it's an experience. I can't imagine hearing that in the distance. But then again, I think if I was out in the woods and I heard, you know, a Bigfoot vocalizing, I would probably just think it was a coyote, because I pretty much think every sound from the woods is a coyote. We hear some strange sounds where we live, and I always just assume it's coyotes or neighborhood dogs or something. Or people, just crazy lunatic people running through the fields in the mountains making howling noises. Bigfoot ate a dog man. Actually, Jerry, I think Bigfoot may not be a formidable opponent to Dogman. I think that Dogman has him beat in that department as far as Battle Royale department. So it's sad to think about, because I don't know, I envision Bigfoot as a gentle giant. You know, of course he's territorial. Of course he'll protect his young, but I imagine him to be a little more civilized and have I don't know, empathy at times. And have you guys ever heard about the guy who got kidnapped by Bigfoot? Because I was thinking maybe next week we'll do a part, kind of like not really a continuation of this or a part 2, but I want to talk more about Bigfoot. And there are some crazy cases out there, including one where a guy was kidnapped in Canada. I'm not sure what part of Canada, but he was kidnapped by Bigfoot, and he spent 6 days with big feet, Bigfoots. So I think Bigfoot is different. I think that he is more suitable for human contact than Dogman. I think Dogman is a killing machine with no politics whatsoever. That's what I would say. Let's get to this next one from 1973 from Washington. This one I think is really good. Yeah, so that one's really cool. It's got kind of like a blurby, yodely type effect to it. That part, that's the part I really like right there. I don't know if I can rewind this little play bar. That's a really peculiar sound. And, you know, these recordings here, although they're not part of the Sierra sound recordings, these are very interesting, even to someone like me who doesn't know much about animal vocalization, because they don't sound like anything any type of woodland animal would make. I mean, you know, dogs can't really make that kind of, I don't know, like it kind of like a vibrato type sound. I don't know, did I say Yeah, I think I pronounced that right. It's been a long day, guys. I'm sorry. I'm having brain farts. But these sounds, even to me, if someone played these for me and was like, "Do you think this is a normal animal?" I would be suspicious, especially that last one. So here's another one, also from Washington. Let's check it out. Isn't that one just so creepy? I mean, I don't know about this one. To me, some of those yodels or bellows or whatever kind of sound duped, as in they sound duplicated. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But that is really cool, Samuel. My guess would be Dogman, though, for real. But you didn't get attacked. So I don't know. Maybe it was a Bigfoot. That is really interesting, though. Maybe you should stay out of that area of the woods. Don't go back. A lot of people actually, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't know about growls from Bigfoot. I would definitely say growls go in the Dogman category, but maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part because I love Dogman. And I don't know if you guys read this while this was playing, but this is actually a really cool little piece of information here. This person in the story was experiencing lots of Bigfoot activity. And like I said, it was from Washington. She was recording this off and on for like 9 months. So these sounds were happening basically all the time. Let's see. It says a particular recording shows the frequency and intensity of the sounds. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. I've heard of people who have, maybe perhaps live in just kind of a hotspot for cryptid creatures like this and just have experience after experience after experience. So, and I think my brother kind of does. And I think I told you guys about this before on the Dogman topic, just to get a little sidetracked here. In the county where my brother lives, there's a lot of werewolf sightings. And for the longest time, I kept just kind of jokingly saying that, on a full moon, it was maybe my brother running through the woods on all fours. But in all honesty, the people of this county completely believe that there is a dog monster in the woods. And I don't know much about it beyond that, but I think it has made the newspaper at some point. I don't know if the full moon really has anything to do with it, though. Keeping humans out of the woods. Yep. Yeah, I think Dogman is evil. Whatever he is. And my theory on Dogman, if anybody's interested, just from what I've heard about it, I think that it's a government experiment, perhaps some type of biological weapon. Maybe it went terribly wrong. Maybe they just decided to turn him loose. Maybe he escaped. Because I just don't feel like Dogman fits into an extraterrestrial or even an ultra-terrestrial category. I feel like he's kind of in a category of his own. And I don't think that he fits into like a Bigfoot category as well. Or, a lot of people say that maybe it has something to do with dire wolves. I think that's kind of a dumb assumption because dire wolves were just big wolves that lived around the same time with like saber-toothed tigers and things like that. But he wasn't half man, half monster. You know what I mean? So, but I think that he's a biological weapon for some reason. I just really get that feeling. So, on to the next one. I don't know if you guys are tired of these. We'll listen to a couple more. This one's, I think this one is kind of cool if I remember correctly. That one I think that one sounds more canine to me, but I think that one's really interesting. So if you snoop around the internet for this type of thing, you will find a plethora of recordings, people capturing things that they believe are, Dogman, Bigfoot, this and that, whatever. And I actually posted on the Facebook page. If you haven't been there, it's just facebook.com/paranormallycorrect. Or you can just search for Paranormally Correct. It'll pop up. But almost sounds Sonic. Yeah, it kind of does. Let's see. There are several pages that I posted today. Well, several YouTube videos, rather, that people have posted and claimed that they captured Bigfoot type sounds. One of them I thought was very, very spooky. The one with the dogs. And I can't remember. I think what was the title? Something like longest Bigfoot sound ever or something like that. And then there was one where a news reporter went on to a Bigfoot hunt. And that one was kind of cool too, but you didn't really hear much of anything. And I think they were experiencing a bad case of pareidolia because they kept thinking that they were seeing something like a dark shadow or something in the woods or behind a rock. But the one where the two people, the man and the woman and their dogs, are listening to those sounds, that I think was really crazy. I think that one was legitimately a recording of Bigfoot. And the dogs, that's another thing that I think is really interesting, is like the way dogs react, because of course dogs are very smart, they're intelligent. And the way they react to sounds, I think, is kind of telling sometimes, So I don't know, check those out. They're on the Facebook page. Let's go over to this page here. This is really interesting. They have an assortment of topics and recordings and stuff like that. They even have this, I thought was kind of cool, that they included coyote sounds often mistaken for Sasquatch howls. So that is really interesting. I will link this page. I think maybe I already have. If I haven't, I'll post it over on the Facebook page. Here's a couple of recordings that I think are really interesting. And this one even has like a waveform and stuff, so you can kind of look at the sound. You can see a visualization of the sound as you listen to it. So let's take a listen to this. That just sounds like a big, big animal. Whether it's a Bigfoot or not, who knows? I'm going to say maybe it is. Maybe this one's kind of convincing. But that sound just, I don't know, it just feels like it's coming from a very large creature. And if you also think about, like, well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any qualifications to kind of analyze any of these sounds. But just my personal opinion. That seems like a very loud, steady vocalization to hold for that length of time, which kind of makes me think that, you would have to have really big lungs and a very strong guttural type voice to produce a sound. And it resonate like that. Just, listen to that again and just think about how big it sounds. And I think that, it kind of sounds a little similar to a cow or something. Obviously, it's not a cow because that's way too long of a moo. I don't think moos last that long. But I don't know. It's like it just feels like it's coming from a big animal. I don't know how else to put it, but that's my opinion on that one. Whoops. I accidentally closed the wrong thing. Okay, 1 second. Let me navigate back to that. Okay, 2004 moaning howls. There is a full recording and a short version. Whoa. Okay, no. That is really messed up. I don't know. That sounds like the file's messed up. I thought I listened to this one. I guess I didn't. Okay, so here are some whoops and nods. that's the thing that I said was a wood knock. So Bigfoot allegedly does a lot of these types of things. Knocking on trees, I guess. That one's really interesting, I think. That one doesn't, to me, it doesn't sound like something that a human couldn't make, but it's interesting nonetheless. So yeah, there are so many recordings on this website. Like just between these two right here, there's a ton. So you could listen all day long. And there are several other sites out there. I'll try to round up some more if you guys are interested in anything like that and post them on the Facebook page tomorrow. But that I guess is about it. Just definitely wanted to attempt this video at some point. I know I don't have a whole lot of input, like I said, but it's just such a cool thing, and it's different too. I feel like not too many people talk about this. Maybe in the YouTube world, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe I just haven't really looked close enough. But hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that was kind of interesting. Maybe you learned something tonight if you've never heard of Samurai Chatter or the Sierra Sounds. And you can look this up even further if you're interested in it. I would suggest looking it up because it's a really interesting story. And I know that there are a few recordings out there that are really long. So I don't know if they just sell them on the website or what. That would be, what would that be called? Tom? I think, no. That was Ron's website, I believe. So Ron Moorhead, or whatever his name is. Yeah, Ron. I can't remember his first name for some reason. But yeah, he sells some evidence and stuff like that on his webpage. And you can find a little bit of it on YouTube. Not a tremendous amount, but definitely very interesting. And there are some cool videos out there where, you know, just other people who, you know, are not necessarily in the cryptid limelight have recorded or captured. You can kind of use these Sierra sounds too, I feel like anyway, to sort of gauge the quality of other recordings. And I think that we hear these a lot. I think that these sounds are common, but most people like me, we hear them and we say, oh, that's a coyote. When actually it's a squatch. It's a ginormous hairy squatch. So be on the lookout, guys, for these types of sounds and wood knocks and rocks flying from out of nowhere or from deep in the woods. And check out the Facebook page, as I will be posting some more stuff on this, just a few more links and things to get you started if you're interested in researching it. And if there's anything you want me to make a video on along the lines of Bigfoot or cryptids or anything like that, be sure to let me know, because I would like to do some cryptid videos for a little while. I love cryptids. Lots of cryptids out there to talk about. And possibly next week, if I don't have something I really, really want to do more than this, possibly next week we'll talk about some witness, maybe some of the most interesting witness reports about Bigfoot. And yeah, I guess that's it for tonight. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Does anybody have any questions or anything before I hop off here? I always feel like I hop off here too quickly because of that delay. And I'm like, bye guys. And then I get off of here and you guys maybe are still talking because you don't know I'm gone for 45 seconds. But yeah, if you have any questions and I don't see them here for whatever reason, feel free to leave them in the comments of this video, not the live comments, but the other comments. And also you can come over to the Facebook page, go to my Twitter. Anybody uses Twitter. I don't really use Twitter that much, but yeah, and Instagram. So all of my social media will be linked in the description box. You guys know that. All right, guys, it was great hanging out with you tonight. I will see you next week. Don't get abducted by aliens. Bye, everybody.